Everyone, well done for making it onto this YouTube video this morning or afternoon, depending when you're watching it. In this video, we're going to go through the first chapter of Stig of the Dump from the perspective of Barney, and this is going to help us with some diary entries that we're going to be planning and writing next week. So I'm not sure how many of you have read the first chapter. You should have done, or listened to it on YouTube, but if you haven't, then don't worry, because this is going to be a great opportunity to catch up and to find out what happens, so you can get on to writing your diary entry. So I really love this story. This is a story that I did when I was at school, so I'm hoping you. So let's have a look through the first chapter through the perspective of Barney. So summary of chapter 1 from Barney's perspective. So if you remember, Barney is staying at his grandmother's house over the summer. Now, we're not sure why. Perhaps his mum and dad are working. And he's at his grandmother's and he ends up feeling a bit bored. So, and of all the things his grandmother says to him, she says, I don't care if you're bored, but whatever you do, don't go to the chalk pit. And like lots of children, Barney doesn't really listen to his grandmother. And what does he do? He ignores his grandmother's request, which he should never do, and he wanders over to the chalk pit and wishes, he looks down and thinks, I'd love to go to the bottom of that pit. There's lots of bits there, lots of rubbish there, there's a bike, there's a mattress, there's lots of kind of people have just used this pit to throw stuff over. He's thinking, I'd love to get down there. And then the chalk pit gives way. Boosh! Barney bumps his head on the way down. Now, after realizing he wasn't dead, Barney tries to move, but panics a bit because he can't feel or move his legs. That'd be very worrying, wouldn't it? I think Barney would have been really, really worried at this point. Breathing a deep sigh of relief, Barney realizes that his legs are tangled up in the creepers. So he hasn't broken his legs or anything like that. It's tangled up in creepers, a bit like vines in the jungle, that Tarzan would swing on. So these creepers, he's been caught up in these, which is probably a really good thing, because it would have stopped him from falling down onto his head. Okay. And at this point, he remembers in his pocket he has a blunt and rusty pocket knife that his granddad had given him. Now he tries to reach for it, but out of the corner of his eye, he sees something or someone. Something or someone out of the corner of his eye. Barney shouts, "Hello!" And he explains that he fell from the edge of the cliff and asked for the man's name. He could see it was a man. The man replied, "Stig." Now Stig was short, with hair all over his body and really muscly as well. Barney tries to ask Stig to get him free, but he takes the pocket knife and starts rubbing it with a piece of flint. So flint is like a piece of stone, kind of quite a flat, sharp piece of stone. Now at first Barney thought he was trying to sharpen the pocket knife, but it turned out that Stig was actually sharpening the flint. So brushing them together, trying to get the flint sharper. And Stig managed to cut the creepers and walked over to his cave, and Barney followed him. So Stiff offered Barney some water, which came out of a weed killer can. I don't think that would taste very nice. But Barney politely accepted the drink. And it tasted a combination of like rubber and rusty water, and he was also given a turnip to eat. So politely, Barney ate the turnip. Now, Barney looked around this cave and he could see lots of everyday tools that Stig was using, such as a mud guard. So mud guard goes on your bicycle, just over the wheels, a bit of plastic to stop mud spraying everywhere when you're cycling. And he was using that to make some sort of water flow, some sort of water system, so the water could trickle down. And he had half a football as a bowl, and a vacuum cleaner as a water pipe. So what we already know is that Stig is really, really resourceful. Okay, he can take everyday objects and turn them into, he's inventing different ways to use them. It was really, really resourceful and clever. Good resourcefulness from him for his learning superpower. Barney's amazed looking around this cave, although it's starting to get a bit late. So Barney decides to set off home. Now he remembers that if he keeps walking through the chalk pit, he would end up near his grandmother's house. And he went home and he told his grandmother and his sister Lou about Stig and everything that had happened on that day, but they didn't believe him, and his grandma thought that, you know, Barney's just had an imaginary friend, and his sister Lou was laughing at him. Well, Barney was given a piece of flint by Stig, and he went to bed and put the flint under his pillow. Now, I wonder if you guys ever put anything under your pillow. I think he did that for two reasons. One, if he puts it under his pillow, he's less likely to lose it. And two, you know that if it's under your pillow, it's a bit difficult for someone to steal it, okay? Because you're sleeping on it, they're going to have to wake you up to try and take it. And to do that, you know, they're going to have to wake you up, and then you're going to know what's going on. So he's put it underneath his pillow, and he's going to bed that night, and it probably would have been really hard for him to go to sleep. It's been a really full-on day. He's fallen down a cliff. He's met this creature, human, whoever it is, Stig. So he's laying in bed, probably with his eyes wide open, looking at the ceiling, thinking, I need to go and see Stig again soon. So this takes us to today's task. Now, what you'll see on your home learning is I've put the key events from the first chapter in your home learning, and you can see here the key events here in chronological order, so the order that things have happened in. Okay, now I haven't used lots and lots of detail and explained everything in lots of detail purely because I wanted to make it quite concise and quite short, so you've just got kind of key points there. Okay, and the next thing I've done on your home learning is given you here some like a planning template. So at the top it says this: before we begin planning our diary entry by recapping Barney's day, it's important that we know what Barney himself is like. So if we're writing a diary entry from the perspective of Barney, we need to know what Barney's like. We need to know whether he's kind, whether he's polite, whether he's honest, whether he's horrible, whether he makes good choices, bad choices. Because we're writing from his perspective, we need to know a little bit about him. Now, I filled out one of the arrows on the mind map, and I've put that Barney is disobedient, and he's disobedient because his grandmother says, Barney, don't go to the chalk pit, and he goes to the chalk pit. Okay, you might think of some other adjectives to describe him. Now, I think also he's quite polite. He went into Stig's cave, and he was offered a drink, and I'm sure he didn't particularly want to, have the water from a weed killer can. It tasted like rubber, but he had it anyway, because that's the polite thing to do. Okay, I think that what else do I think about him? I think he's quite resourceful as well as Stig, because he was stuck in the creepers, and he thought about getting his pocket knife. So think of different adjectives and try and piece together what Barney is like, and then your planning template. This is how it will look. What I want you guys to do, and I'm gonna very badly annotate. I'm gonna draw on this planning document just to show you. So what I'm expecting is your plan to have some pictures, and the pictures will run through Barney's day in chronological order. And what I can do, I can look at chapter 1 and see Barney staying at his grandmother's house and feeling bored. So I might have Barney here, and I might draw some Z's because he's a bit sleepy, he's a bit bored. I might draw a house as well, and I might draw his grandmother there. Things that show me he's feeling bored. Okay, and I'm going to do an arrow, and I'm going to go on to my next point. Barney wanders over to the chalk pit, so I might draw a chalk pit like so, and I might have Barney at the edge of it, and he might be looking in. So I'm going to be drawing these 10 points really, so that when I come to writing my diary entry, instead of looking at these points and reading them and then writing them and reading them and writing them, I want you guys to use your plan, your picture plan, to look and think, oh, there's a picture of Barney standing at the edge of the chalk pit. Oh yes, he stood at the edge of the chalk pit. And then the next picture, oh, he fell in. So it's a nice way for you to plan your diary entry. Make sure as well, like we do when we do Talk for Writing, that we're using key vocab and some adjectives. So you might want to describe how he's feeling at different points in the story. You might want to use some adverbs as well. How does he fall into the pit? You know, does he fall in slowly? Does he fall in dangerously into the pit? Completely up to you. Put some adverbs and adjectives in there as well. Okay. For an extra bonus, maybe even some similes. So the chalk pit was as wide as what? Another simile, like or as. The pocket knife was as rusty as, or as blunt as. Yeah. So pop some similes in there too. That's your task for today. Obviously, your pictures are going to be a lot better than mine. A, because I'm drawing on a computer, but B, you guys are a better artist than me anyway, and that's okay because I'm practicing. And you can go on from there. So I hope this video has been useful for you, and good luck with the activity, and I will see you all in a video tomorrow where I'm going to be talking a little bit about recapping the features of diary entry and showing you a diary entry that I've written from Barney's perspective, where you guys are going to be picking out the key features to help you guys for next week. So thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.